The sterile white walls of the Greek hospital were Michael Morbius's first memories. It was there he met Milo, another boy trapped within those walls. Both suffered from a rare, debilitating blood disease. Their bodies were frail, their movements restricted. Michael and Milo found solace in each other. They shared stories and dreamt of a life beyond the hospital. Their bond, forged in shared pain and hope, became unbreakable. Michael sought refuge in books, devouring medical texts. He yearned to understand the enemy that ravaged his body. Nicholas, a renowned hematologist, saw something special in Michael. Perhaps it was the boy's thirst for knowledge. Nicholas took Michael under his wing. He became a father figure to both Michael and Milo. Nicholas instilled in Michael the importance of education. He believed knowledge was key to unlocking their illness. Michael saw education as a path to freedom. Milo struggled with academia. He excelled in physical pursuits, but his illness held him back. Nicholas encouraged Milo to find his own path. Years passed. Michael excelled and graduated at the top of his class. He earned a scholarship to medical school in New York City. Determined to find a cure, he threw himself into his studies. Milo stayed behind, undergoing experimental procedures. He clung to the hope of freedom from his illness. In New York, Michael pioneered new treatments for blood disorders. He earned respect but never forgot his goal to cure himself and Milo. 25 years passed. Michael, now a renowned hematologist, was on the verge of a breakthrough. His research had yielded promising results, but the solution remained elusive. Then came Martine Bancroft, a brilliant young scientist who joined Michael's lab. Together they pushed the boundaries of science, dreaming of a world without their affliction. Martine discovered that vampire bats held the key to curing their blood disease. Their unique physiology offered a potential solution. Michael was skeptical at first, but became convinced as they researched. The vampire bat's saliva contained an enzyme that could potentially rewrite their DNA. It was a risky proposition, fraught with danger, but it was their only hope. Michael, driven by desperation, injected himself with the experimental serum derived from vampire bat DNA. The effects were immediate and catastrophic. His body contorted in agony, his senses overwhelmed. He was dying, but death was not the end. Michael was reborn, transformed. His senses were heightened to an almost unbearable degree. He possessed superhuman strength and speed. His reflection in the mirror was a monstrous mockery of his former self. He had become a creature of the night, a predator driven by an insatiable thirst. The very thing he sought to cure had become his curse. Michael awoke on his research vessel, adrift and disoriented. The carnage he discovered horrified him. The crew, victims of his uncontrollable bloodlust, lay strewn across the deck. He was a monster, a danger to himself and everyone around him. Panic set in. He had become the very thing he feared. The disease had not been cured, it had twisted him into something monstrous. He returned to New York, hoping to control his urges and reverse the transformation. But the bloodlust was too strong. The city became his hunting ground. His victims, innocent people caught in the throes of his insatiable hunger. The string of bizarre murders attracted the attention of the FBI. Agents Stroud and Rodriguez were assigned to the case. The victims were drained of blood with strange neck markings. Evidence pointed to a creature of myth, stalking the city's shadows. Stroud dismissed supernatural theories, believing in a human perpetrator. Rodriguez entertained the possibility of something more sinister. Together, they followed the trail of bodies, closer to the truth. The investigation intensified, leading them closer to Michael. While Michael grappled with his newfound curse, Milo watched from the shadows. He had followed Michael's research, his hopes soaring with each breakthrough. When he learned of Michael's transformation, envy twisted his heart. Why did Michael get to be free while he remained trapped in his dying body? It wasn't fair. Driven by jealousy and resentment, Milo broke into the hospital, seeking the remnants of Michael's research. He found a vial of the serum, the last vestiges of Michael's cure. He didn't hesitate. He injected himself, desperate to share in his brother's power. The FBI investigation led them to the hospital, to the scene of Milo's transformation. Security footage showed Michael present at the time of the incident. To Stroud, the evidence was clear. Michael Morbius was responsible for the murders. Michael, realizing his brother was responsible, was forced to flee. He couldn't let Stroud and Rodriguez capture Milo. He had to protect his brother, even if it meant becoming a fugitive. Their confrontation was inevitable. Brother against brother, monster against monster. They met in the abandoned church where they had played as children, their shared past a haunting backdrop to their present conflict. Michael, horrified by what Milo had become, vowed to find a way to stop him. He knew that killing Milo was not the answer. He had to find a cure, an antidote to the vampiric curse that consumed them both. He established a new lab, hidden from the prying eyes of the FBI. He worked tirelessly, driven by guilt and a desperate need for redemption. His research yielded a breakthrough, an antibody that would counteract the effects of the vampire bat enzyme. It wouldn't be a permanent cure, but it would suppress the bloodlust, allowing him to control his urges. More importantly, it could save Milo. With the antidote in hand, Michael reached out to Martine. He confessed everything, his transformation, his killings, his desperate search for a cure. Martine, initially horrified, was torn. She loved the man Michael was, but the monster he had become terrified her. Together, they decided to reveal the truth. They contacted a trusted journalist, sharing Michael's story. The world was stunned, myth and reality blurred. Michael Morbius, the monster, became the tragic figure. The revelation drew Milo out. He couldn't stand to see Michael garner sympathy. He wanted Michael to embrace the darkness. Their final confrontation took place on the rooftops of the city. Michael pleaded with Milo to accept the antidote, but Milo refused. In the struggle, Michael injected Milo with the antidote. Milo weakened, the vampiric effects receding. As dawn approached, Michael watched his brother succumb. Michael, having saved the city from his brother but losing him in the process, was left to grapple with the consequences. He had tasted true power, experienced the thrill of the hunt. The bloodlust lingered, a constant temptation. He mourned Martine, a casualty of his war with Milo. He was a creature of two worlds, forever caught between light and darkness. He embraced his fate, choosing to protect the innocent. In a twist of fate, Michael is approached by Adrian Toombs, a cunning inventor with a score to settle. Recognizing a kindred spirit in the living vampire, Toombs proposes an alliance. Together, they could achieve great things. The offer hangs in the air, leaving audiences to ponder the possibilities of this unlikely partnership.